helicopter.
Go back, go back. Chairman of the occasion, sir. Senator O'Brien, member of the House, my Speaker, my United States House of Assembly, Honorable Tonwei Refinery, other honorable members, service commanders, other caretaker chairman, Alaguni, the Royal Highness, and other royal fathers, executive of DPR present here, host communities of this project, gentlemen of the press, distinguished the first chapter of a refinery being built in this community. When it starts, you'll say, I was there when it all started. I think that is the first chapter. May I at this point, ladies and gentlemen, clear AZ Argo to deliver his welcome address. Please put your hands together, please.
The chairman of the occasion, Deputy Senate President Ibrahim Mandu, the representative of the President, Engineer Crucial Kupoloku, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, distinguished senators present here, distinguished members of the House of Representatives, Your Royal Majesties and Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Tonwei Oil Refinery and on behalf of the host communities taking part in this unique ceremony, being the first privately owned university, the privately owned refinery in Nigeria, we wish to welcome you to our land. This is a beautiful island bounded by three sectors: the Ramos River, the Dodo River, and the beautiful Atlantic Ocean, which we are now seeing. This project is supposed to be unique in bringing peace and prosperity to the state. We of the host communities, we welcome the project. We will guarantee that throughout the planning, the designing, the construction, the commissioning, the operation of the project, there will be peace in these communities. We are inviting the sponsors of the project to be well aware that they do not stand any risk in undertaking this project, and that all that will come out of it is a win-win situation. Win for Nigeria, win for Bayelsa State, win for our local government, win for our communities, win for our people, win for the government, win for everybody. That's what we want. So, to cut the long story short, the host communities, all of them that are listed in the invitation cards and in other media, welcome you most warmly to our gate. The present host community, where the specific foundation stream will be laid. So, on behalf of all of us, we welcome you to this august occasion. We thank you.
You can all agree with me. There is no welcome as big as the one you just heard from the community representative itself. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for him again. Please, loud and clear.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, ably represented by Special Assistant on Petroleum Matters, Engineer Crucial Kupoloku, the Executive Governor of Bayelsa State, Chief DSP Alanasier, ably represented by his deputy, the representative of the governor of Delta State, who is here also with us, distinguished directors, members of the Federal House of Representatives here present, if any of them is here, members of the Delta State Executive, the Speaker of the House and members of the State House of Assembly, may Lord temporal and spiritual, Your Royal Highnesses, our traditional rulers who are here present, Chairman of the Board of Governors of Tonwei Refinery, the technical representative of the Tonwei Refinery, who is also at the other end there, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me start by apologizing for the late start of this very important function. I know that this function started much earlier, but due to some logistic problems, we are just arriving. Again, some of us have some other functions to perform. For example, when I leave here, I'm going to just straight. So, as the chairman, I'm going to use my executive powers to say that everything is going to be very snappy. Very, very snappy. If you have a speech of the second 20 minutes, cut it to 5. As the chairman of the whole community has started very well, he's gone for a short time, but everything was actually included in his speech. That is the kind of thing that we want. We want it to make for the once. And that was a very fantastic beginning. Let me say that today we are witnessing the delivery of dividends of democracy. 2 years ago, or last year to be specific, the National Assembly set up a committee under my chairmanship to ensure that oil companies try to encourage local participation, what we call local content. And I went around the oil installations, the oil establishments, and I saw how they are trying in their own way to reflect that local content. And of course, it has not been satisfactory at all. Today I'm saying that the policies of the Obama administration have made it possible for the people of Nigeria to witness the establishment of the first refinery that is privately owned in this country. It may interest you to know that when this young man of yours, Tonwei, started this journey, I was then in Lagos as an ordinary businessman, and he came to me and went to every military leader in those days. For 20 years, nothing happened. And I said to him, look, Timmy, it is enough. You have worked so hard and there's no result. I think the time has come for you to put back to this project. And he said to me, sir, I will continue because you never fail until you stop trying. What we are witnessing today is an effort of between 15 to 20 years ago. I don't know how many of us will pursue something for up to that kind of period of time and still pursue and we will be frustrated. The fact that you're not frustrated and we are witnessing what is happening today is an exemplary, I mean to say. It is exemplary that you should pursue whatever you believe in religiously, and by the hands of God, it will come to fruition. Again, we can put difference between a military regime and a democratic elected government. All these years, those people who have been in charge of affairs in Nigeria did not give him listening ear to issue him a license. But an elected government, which is responsive to the yearnings of the people, has today granted him a license to establish the first refinery owned by any private organization in Nigeria. I want to say here that a democratic government is the only government that can bring progress and prosperity to the people. There is no other way. No matter how bad the democratic government is, it's better than the first military government. Because we are witnessing today. That is a practical reality. I was talking to Mr. President when I was coming. I said, I'm going to Alge. He said, where is Alge? I said, it's in Bayelsa. He said, what is happening there? I said, we are going to... He said, oh, I remember I was been there myself physically, but I've already asked my special assistant to go. I would have actually gone, but since you are going, you are combined forces, is definitely going to make me there spiritually and physically. And I said to him, thank you very much, Mr. President. Today, all areas of Nigeria will be opened up. We shall reach every nook and cranny in the next 4 or 5 years. And I said to him, you always say that prosperity cannot be guaranteed unless wealth is created. Unless there's additional wealth, there can never be additional prosperity. And you'll agree with me that by the time this refinery becomes a reality here, you are going to see what you have never seen. By the time we come here, when the job is on, one will just say, just imagine, are we in idea? And people will say, yes, this is like a transfer into another number. That's what we want. So, we thank Mr. President for making it possible, for creating the right environment, for creating the right policies, for wealth to be added to what we have. And I want to say all of you that continue to support democracy. Continue to support democracy. I know that people would have thought that once the democratic government comes into place, we shall say goodbye to all our problems. Rome was not built in a day. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. The realization of this refinery starts with the foundation laid. And I would love to see when I will come here to witness the commissioning ceremony of this refinery. This is the top of the story. With this, I want to say, people, congratulations. Prince Timmy Tungobo, you are indeed an exemplar Nigerian. There are many people who would have taken this thing to Lagos or to Abuja, but you brought it to your people, and I want you to all give you maximum support. The young men, the youth, that you are always being used to go and kill, this is the time for you to use your energy positively. Come and work here. Yes. Come and work here. There's work for you now. Some people are asking to go and kill. Why don't they put their children in front to go and kill? Now you can say, they come over and come and kill. You don't get papa, you don't get mama. Your own children should come and do it for you and ask you to do. But thank you, Timmy. You have put them job to do. If they are giving you 5,000 naira to come and kill, you will earn 30,000 naira a month here. So what do you kill? So please, all of you, where do you work? Whether you go to school or not go to school, there's work for everybody. There's work for the one who goes to school, there's work for the one who not go to school. All of us get something to do, we get something to do here. Including myself. Thank you very much.
Please, put your hands together for him again. I said earlier in the beginning that all of us present here,
Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR, fully represented by the Special Advisor to the President on Petroleum Matters, Engineer Fukoloku, Distinguished Senate President, who is not here, the Chairman, Distinguished Senator Brian Nasu Mantu, Deputy Senate President, my Lord Spiritual Temporals, distinguished honorable members of the National Assembly, Special Advisor on Petroleum Matters, and current honorable ministers. His Excellency is the Executive Governor of here present and represented by his deputy, honorable members of the State House of Assembly, honorable commissioners, and other federal and state government appointees. My royal fathers and chairman of Bayelsa State Council of National Rulers, members of Tonwei Refinery. Your Excellency, sir, I welcome you and your distinguished entourage today to Agave Ocean View with a sense of history. We believe that of all the 18 private refinery licenses granted by the federal government of Nigeria, Tonwei Refinery was regarded as having the least degree of viability. However, today we are exhibiting the characteristic represented by the biblical parable that speaks of Jesus Christ performing a miracle of healing for several victims, but only one beneficiary returned to express gratitude. Today's event is a clear demonstration of divine intervention, glorifying the affairs of men. And for this reason, we are sincerely grateful to Mr. President and the Senate President, physically present. Tonwei Refinery Limited is a child of divine circumstances. 15 years ago, in 1987, I had a vision. Like the dream of a respected fighter for the rights of our African brothers and sisters, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I saw an opportunity to bring about social equality, economic empowerment, and political equity for the people of the wealthy but neglected, depressed Niger Delta region that is my own. In that vision, God showed me an ocean view where he used oil tankers shuttled to lift refined products to and from foreign lands. But as a young man, I did not understand the vision. 5 years later, God revealed to me the enormous tax he had placed on my shoulders. Still, I did not fully understand what my responsibilities were, because as a young man from a military background, as I then was, I never thought that I could play a vital role in the downstream sector of the oil and gas industry, which I have no professional relationship. By divine agreement, I found myself in France in 1983, in very distressing circumstances, but to my greatest surprise, I was lifted to the enviable position of consultant to government parastatals in the Defense Ministry in France. Under the government of President Mitterrand in 1986, I remained in that privileged position for several years. I was exposed to specialized ideas and knowledge, especially relating to the importance of what oil and gas meant to global environmental politics and human development. At this time, our oil was being battered for debt relief and other global commitments, and it dawned on to me that the abundant wealth of oil and gas of the Niger Delta could be used as a social economic weapon of mass mobilization for all-round development of my people. For this reason, in 1992, I started to record the vision I had in 1987. Through the international exposure I gained as a defense consultant to France, I was privileged to appreciate what the downstream sector of the oil and gas industry could do to enhance the living standard of my poverty-restricted people in Niger Delta with a 200,000 barrel per day refinery. Although Tonwei Refinery Limited was granted 50% of its requested capacity, we are extremely grateful to Mr. President for helping to bring hope to the Niger Delta region. I am hopeful that Tonwei Refinery will expand 100% in 3 years, and a second application will be made for expansion to accommodate 200,000 barrels per day. Mr. President, physical presence at this August occasion once again confirms the strong belief and resolve that the oil companies we spend so much to extract our resources should also spend as much to provide development for the Niger Delta region and bring about economic prosperity to the people. In support of the President's vision to develop the Niger Delta region, this foundation stone laying ceremony of Tonwei Refinery Limited is the beginning of genuine cooperation between the federal, state, and local governments on one hand, and indigenous entrepreneurs in the industry on the other hand, to protect and promote political stability for economic empowerment and social harmony in our land. To achieve this noble result, it is ultimate administrative and management audit for Tonwei Refinery to promote host community ownership via the provision of shares. Host communities will receive shares in the company in lieu of compensation for land and other rights. And this, in turn, will entitle them to nominate a director on board, thus infusing a sense of ownership in the project and reducing host community hostility. This will impact on the host communities greatly in several ways in improving the social welfare and economic well-being of the youth, women, and all people. There will be a marked improvement, especially in the provision of education, formal or informal, health care, and development of small-scale industries for our very industrial people. In addition, Tonwei Refinery is also committed to the provision of overseas scholarship for specialized skill acquisitions, and already a plan is in place for the establishment of a training facility to be sited at the sample, which is my village, in the local government area. It is our intention to affiliate this institution with the Petroleum Training Institute at Ekron, Delta State, and other relevant institutes abroad. It is our hope that before and immediately after the refinery starts production, we shall liaise with the federal government, particularly the Ministry of Education, to process the necessary papers to execute this aspect of our project. This will create the appropriate environment to arrest so-called youth activeness in the Niger Delta through proper training. We, the management of Tonwei Refinery, passionately appeal to our able and transparent committed president, and here also our Deputy Senate President, to give a special concession to enable us to achieve accelerated construction and operation. The provision of the relevant incentives in the area of expatriate quota, shipment, custom duties, and other related matters will help us greatly. We also appeal to Mr. President to ensure that federal infrastructures that we need, practically the Sabama-Ikremo-Agri Road project, will be constructed as soon as possible. This road will be beneficial to the effective distribution of the domestic quota of this export-oriented refinery. At this junction, I wish to welcome our foreign partners, especially from Yugoslavia, who have sustained their support for this dream for over 10 years with great faith. This has been a source of inspiration to me in particular, and the board of directors in general. I believe that this refinery will be one of the greatest instruments of mass job creation in this part of the world. I believe that this refinery will be one of the greatest instruments of mass job creation in this part of the world, and a big plus for the people of the Democratic Party administration. We pray that others who have been granted refinery licenses will come on stream as soon as possible to help Mr. President achieve his patriotic desire to create more job opportunities. I am convinced beyond all reasonable doubt that if all the 18 refineries become fully operational, more than 70,000 skilled and unskilled jobs will be provided in this downstream sector of the oil industry alone. Once again, Mr. President, our able chairman of the occasion, Senator Brian Matu, Deputy Senate President of the National Assembly, and all the distinguished guests here present, that we are grateful for the support that you have shown to our dream. We are convinced that we have understood the depth of our commitment and that we share our hopes and aspirations. I hereby tell you that we shall not fail you. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by Engineer Funso Kopolokun, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Petroleum Matters, chairman of this great occasion, His Excellency, the Deputy Senate President, Senator Ibrahim Mantu, the representative of the Delta State Governor, Wing Commander Biako, the Speaker of Bayelsa State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Ebedi, other members of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly here, the Secretary to the State Government, and members of the Bayelsa State Executive Council, special advisors to the Governor, the chairman of the various local governments here with us, the chairman of the board of directors of Tonwei Refinery, Prince Timijos Tongobo, and other board members, very senior federal and state government representatives here, Your Royal Highnesses, and the Royal Fathers of our gay community, my dear good people of our gay, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Governor, I'm here to present his speech. The Governor would have been here himself for the uniqueness of this occasion. But quite certain things that are quite inevitable made him to travel out of the state. He have asked me to extend a good felicitation to you all. We thank all of you who have found ways here today in this ancient town of Agay to see to the foundation laying ceremony of the Tonwei Refinery. We are aware that in Bayelsa State, the only industry we have is the oil industry. That because the oil industry activities in Bayelsa State is dominated by the upstream activities, we are hardly employed, since that section of the oil industry needs less labor, more machines. We are so happy that today the foundation stone of the refinery is being laid. It's a major downstream operations of the oil industry, and it will revolutionize our own industrial base and stimulate and increase job opportunities for all of us. So the economic importance of the refinery is something you cannot even imagine. We'll use this opportunity to call on the federal government, especially NNPC, to always attempt to increase the local content of the oil industry. Of course, now we are happy that the refinery is being established because of the liberalization of the oil sector. We sincerely believe that what is happening in this country will not all go well for good economy, where everything needed for the oil industry is obtained from outside the country. We do know that other countries like China, that even oil was discovered by the same Western companies even a little later than Nigeria. As we are talking now, a number of inputs are produced locally. But here in this country, the smallest thing that is required for the oil industry is always imported. So whenever we have these billions, maybe $2 billion, $3 billion, $4 billion, earmarked for one oil project or the other, the only thing that is flowed back to this country is the money that is used to pay the laborers. Every other thing moves out of the country as a form of capital flight. How can our economy improve? Especially realizing that the economy is based purely on oil. We sincerely believe that the federal government through NMPC can come up with a policy where some of these inputs used in the oil industry will be categorized and time frame given for the oil companies to jointly produce them in the country. That is the only way we can stimulate the economy, diversify the oil industry activities, and increase job opportunities for our people. Some other countries have been doing that. In China, they do that. In fact, the oil industry takes care of mineral construction. In Malaysia, the oil industry even manages the oil palm business in the country, because that's where the money is. Recently, I was a member of the federal government committee to increase rice production in the country. And even when we talk about Bayelsa State, it is the little experimental rice farm at Boma that is being sponsored, partly sponsored by AGIP, that is viable. all the other ones have collapsed. That shows that if we can use the oil industry like the other people use, it will stimulate the economy, because that is where the brains are, that's where the money is. We also use this opportunity to emphasize the need for a good working relationship between the host communities and the refinery. We do know that most of the problems that cause crisis between host communities and multinational companies is the inability of the companies to keep faith with MOUs undertaken with the communities. We believe very sincerely that with this refinery in Agui, the story will be different. We want a situation where the communities will cooperate maximally with the company, and the company will also realize the needs of the people and attempt to solve them. That will be done if a very good EIA is conducted, especially the social impact of the project on the community. Because a major project as a refinery will have a lot of environmental and social impacts on the community. And if these studies are made and mitigating measures properly mapped out, then of course you will know when the problem is to come up, and you know exactly how to solve the problem. And when those things are in ground, there is no reason for conflict between oil producing communities or the host communities and the refinery. We also use this opportunity to all other Bayelsians who are living outside the state to emulate the good work of Prince Tonwei George Tonwei. He's a young man. He's not known as a very rich Bayelsan. We have Bayelsans that are very, very rich. But instead of coming to assist to develop the people, instead of coming to set up one little business or the other so that some Bayelsans will be employed, they will prefer setting up their businesses outside the state. All what we know about them is to attack government on basis of newspapers. We must ask ourselves, in what way are we helping to improve the life of our people? If you look at the number of filling stations that are springing up in Yenagoa, the majority of them are owned by outsiders. But we have Bayelsans who are very rich, who can at least come and invest in one way or the other to improve even the aesthetic value of the state, especially the state capital. But instead, they will prefer to live their life in Lagos, build all their houses, all their investments in Lagos and Port Harcourt, and rather treat Bayelsa State as a fishing port where they will only come and cause confusion and go back. That we don't like it. So we urge all of them to see the good works of Tonwei George and at least try to do a similar thing. If all Bayelsans that are privileged in one way or the other will do a little thing to improve the environment, to increase job or to set up a company or anything that could create employment to our sons and daughters. And this is youth restiveness that we've been talking about for dating of the past. And of course, when we talk about youth restiveness, the youth are not really restive. They are only protesting for oppressive policies of the oil company. And if things are done properly, there is nobody that will be restive. Nobody will be happy to be living in darkness. And within a kilometer of your community, others are living like people are living in London, and you are living in darkness. You will ask why, and that is why the youth attempt to be restive. Bayelsa State is one of the most peaceful states, and the government is committed to providing a very, very conducive environment for investors, as long as the people who are investing will not exploit our people. And we are lucky that this refinery project is being pioneered by a son on the soil, and I believe this is the beginning, the turning point for the better. On behalf of the governor of the state, JP, who is unavoidably absent, the government of Bayelsa State, we wish you success in your endeavors. Thank you all.
The representative of the governor of Bayelsa State.
Deputy Senate President Ibrahim
the governor of the state, hereby represented by the Deputy Governor, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, the representative of the Governor of Delta State, Prince Timi Songobo, the Chairman of the Board of Directors of Tonwei Refinery and other members of the board here present, members of the Delta State Executive Council, Your Royal Highnesses, gentlemen of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President has asked me to bring to the people here today his well wishes. They who have loved very much to be here, but as you know, these are busy times. He is otherwise engaged. He has asked that I come here today to represent him. And he has a speech here, and I just go ahead and read. I'm particularly pleased to be amongst you today to lay the foundation stone of Tonwei Refinery Project, a private initiative in the energy sector. In recent past, I have had calls to attend similar events geared towards raising the socio-economic standard of the nation. Here I refer to the recent commissioning of the Trans-Amadi Gas Turbine Project, a $4.3 billion independent power plant project established by the River State government, and the foundation laying ceremony of the integrated petrochemical industrial plant in the Lekki area of Lagos State, an investment estimated at about 252 billion naira. These developments in the various parts of the country are quite encouraging. However, I wish to sincerely inform you that the recent upsurge in the number of these socio-economic activities, which include commissioning of projects and laying of foundation stone of upcoming ones, is a direct outcome of the economic policies we have carefully put in place in the last 3 years, and the Deputy Senate President alluded to that earlier on. Indeed, I wish to assure you today that this foundation laying ceremony is a consequence of our realization, shortly on assumption of office, that it's only through radical policy decision that the nation could overcome the myriad of problems bedeviling the downstream sector of the oil industry. We have come to this conclusion after a 34-man special committee on review of petroleum product supply and distribution that met for 3 months recommended liberalization of the downstream sector as a lasting solution to the various problems plaguing the sector, prominent among which are petroleum product scarcity, mishandling of product, waste of productive man hours due to queuing at fuel stations and hoarding, etc. By opting for liberalization, government intended to rid the monopoly of the supply and distribution chain of the industry. Private individuals and corporate bodies that have the means and the technical know-how are to be brought on board to compete so that with time, the problems of the industry will disappear. Additionally, all barriers to entry by new participants are to be lifted. Ladies and gentlemen, convinced of the genuineness and workability of the liberalization policy, our government on January 1 this year commenced liberalization of the downstream sector. And as a logical follow-up, government in May this year released the list of 18 successful applicants that were issued preliminary license for the construction of private refineries in the country. Tonwei Refinery made that list. I congratulate you. May I inform you that when Tonwei Refinery becomes operational and even during the construction stage, it will generate hundreds of employment opportunities for Nigerians, including the people in the local community. The establishment of the refinery will end product scarcity in the immediate community and its environs, just as it will facilitate the springing up of many ancillary industries
thus providing further employment opportunities for hundreds of thousands of youths who might be otherwise unemployed. For the entire Nigerian people, the establishment of private refineries like the one whose condition laying ceremony is being performed today has the capacity to inject massive private capital into the system, thus growing the nation's economic activities. More importantly, however, is the fact that Nigeria's future local consumption could be met through refined products from refineries located within our shores. These local refineries will also increase our earnings from oil as more revenues are bound to accrue from sale of finished products as opposed to mere crude oil marketing in the international market. At this time, Nigeria will become the hub of supply and distribution of petroleum products in the west coast of Africa. My advice is that the individuals and corporate bodies behind Tonwei should spare no efforts in ensuring that the costs of things according to schedule. I also wish that the local communities around here will give their maximum support so that the project becomes a reality. This epoch-making endeavor, I guess, should be guided to fruition. At this juncture, permit me to highlight other major activities that our administration has concerned itself with in the last 3 years in the downstream sector. Prominent among these activities is the sustained aggressive maintenance of the nation's refining facilities and the revamp of pipelines, depots, and import reception facilities, which has thus raised the capacity utilization of these refineries in recent times. It should be noted that while all the nation's 4 refineries started at a high level of capacity utilization, due to continual neglect over the years, utilization declined gradually, reaching a level of 34% by 1999. Since 1999, when we assumed office, however, our government has continued to carry out rehabilitation of the country's refineries, including undertaking their turnaround maintenance. Although it takes time to completely eradicate the cumulative effects of the past neglect, the positive result of our intervention is already being felt, as the average capacity utilization for 2002 is about 52%, a level that was last attained in 1993. This instantaneous capacity goes as high as 70%. As a result of these revamp activities, ladies and gentlemen, as well as other efforts at revitalizing the downstream sector of the petroleum industry, the nation is now enjoying an uninterrupted supply of petroleum products, leaving the nation's fuel stations free of queues. Our government will continue to formulate policies that will further consolidate the participation of Nigerian entrepreneurs in the nation's oil and gas industry. It is our belief that after more than 42 years in the life of our nation, our countrymen and women should not be mere spectators in an industry that is the life wire of our national economy. We should all be like TV. Figure out where you can have a piece of the pie in the liberalization that is now ongoing. In conclusion, let me emphasize that all the efforts of the present administration at developing the oil and gas industry, either in the upstream or the downstream, are informed by one concern, the desire by the present administration to lay a solid foundation for the future economic development of the country, for the sole purpose of raising the standard of living of all Nigerians. As good citizens of this country, I urge you all to contribute your quota towards the nation's socio-economic development so that future generations of Nigerians will be proud of us. I thank the officials of Tonwei Refinery for giving me the opportunity to build the community once again. I thank you.
After protocol of court, presenting project. May I call on the representative of the governor by the Deputy Governor, the Chairman of this occasion, the Deputy Senate President, the SSG, the Chairman Tonwei of the Purple State, the Head of Service, and of course the foreign partners to decide where the foundation stone will go. Thank you very much. Hello.
For this side. Yeah. Tell them. Let them from this side.
So all the children will stay one side. Stay at one side.
I just put
Well, come back a bit now.
We're already here, just the one.
Mobilise. Emeka, please.
Emeka, just go back. Don't worry, go back. Come back now. Go this way.
Your foundation of this refinery.
I don't get to my gun. Emeka, I don't get my own.
Emeka. My friend, come out. Good.
This foundation stone of Tonwei Refinery Limited, excellent. Chevron Dockyard, President, Commander in Chief of the Armed Forces Nigeria, this 19th day of October 2002.
You try here on stage.
Wait, one by one.
Representative of the President and then the Chairman of the President and of course the Deputy Governor of the State of the country.
Invest